A show of force from the United States military after North Korea test launched its second intercontinental ballistic missile. We can now confirm it went farther than any other missile that they have fired. Previously scheduled, our military then tested the THAAD missile defense system over the weekend. We flew 2 B-1 bombers over the Korean peninsula. Again, we were set to do that anyway. The timing didn't hurt. The Pentagon confirms to Fox News North Korea's latest ICBM flew for 45 minutes. As I said, that's the longest in their history. Let's bring in Florida Congressman Brian Mast, member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee and a retired U.S. Army Staff Sergeant. Good to have your military expertise on this, as well as the political side, sir. Thanks for being with us. First of all, where do you think we are with North Korea that is maybe a different spot than we've been in history? Or is this less significant than they want us to believe, this latest firing?
No, it's very significant. They're a very serious threat. They pose themselves as a very serious threat. The technology that they're developing, advancing their ballistic missile capabilities, that's incredibly serious, not just for the United States of America, but for the entire region. I personally believe that we should be testing our THAAD defense system, that system that you brought up, on their missile tests. We should be showing them that our missile defense works every single time that they're going to test a ballistic missile themselves.
What about the news today that they have the capability of reaching the United States, or will in a very short order? What do you make of it?
Well, when you look at that capability to reach the United States, that's not just an ability to reach out and touch us. That's an ability to reach out and touch us in under an hour. That's how fast an ICBM moves from one side of the Earth to the other side of the Earth. That means they're not very far off from developing what's known as MIRV technology. That means multiple independently targetable recovery vehicles. That's a technology where they take one missile, one ICBM, and they'll put 10 to 20 warheads on the top of it, and they would attempt to send one to all different cities that it re-enters the Earth's atmosphere. It's a very serious threat. All right.
So you're confirming more than just the suggestion that they can do it. You're saying that they're not far away from being able to really pinpoint it. You know, one thing that this showed us, because this latest missile launch, we're told the missile landed about 230 miles off the coast of Japan, is that it put Japan into the picture maybe deeper than it even had been. And we know that our president has been trying to get China, Japan to kind of work together in all of this. Your thoughts?
Well, Japan has been speaking out in great length about their fear of North Korea becoming this kind of threat. We need a lot more play from China. They're the neighbor there. They need to be going in there and saying if they want to be a regional power, they need to act like one, China, that is to say, and they need to take control of the situation. They need to take the reins of North Korea and say, not in our backyard.
Wow. Okay, let's move on quickly, if we can, to Russia saying it wants to expel 755 of our American diplomatic personnel. I want to draw the fine line, if we can, Congressman, that they're not all diplomats. Some of these are staff. About 352 is what I've read are core diplomatic mission people. What does it mean that President Putin would push our people out?
Well, obviously, there's a chess game going on here where the U.S. is advancing, Russia is advancing, and we're making these moves back and forth. But I think what Russia needs to realize here is that they are but a shadow of what the former Soviet Union was. And at the time of the Cold War, the Soviet Union, they didn't want to participate in the global economy, and the rest of the world was just fine. And I can tell you this, the United States of America is going to be just fine with Russia in isolation if they keep playing these games.
Real quickly, is there an indication that with Putin doing this that we're actually hurting him with the sanctions? Because there's been some criticism that U.S. sanctions against Russia, some already in place, really don't hurt them that badly.
Well, to say that badly is certainly not giving credit where it's due. We can always increase sanctions, and I think we should be increasing these sanctions. And it's something that you will see our foreign affairs committees on both the House and the Senate. You're going to see them taking a very strong look at what's going on here and making advisements certainly to the administration about what needs to be done.
I heard from what you previously said, though, that we need to stay strong on this point. Your last word.
Without question, we have to stay strong on Russia. They are posing themselves not just as an aggressor, but a very serious threat, and they're dangerously close to be considered very much an enemy.
Yeah, interesting. Representative Mast, thank you for being with us today. Appreciate your time.